Hello, hello. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Exercise with Exos. Coach Jazzy here, and today we're going to ramp it up a little bit from yesterday. So we're still going to do 50-10. We're going to do 3 rounds, total body. A little bit, like I said, ramping it up just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead real quick with our demos, and then we're going to get into it. So we are going to start off on the ground. And we are going to do some lateral plank walks. So for this, we're going to be on our hands and our toes. We're going to start on one side. We're going to step out and in with our arms and our legs. So however much room you have, you can go 1, you can go 2, whatever room you have, whatever feels good for you today. So that is our first movement. Movement number 2, we're going to do some pike push-ups. So getting into our plank position, we're going to go ahead, push our hips up into that down dog or pike position. We're going to bring our head down to the ground and pushing back up. So there is our pike push up. And then we're going to switch gears into a little bit of some cardio type movement. So for this, we're going to do some marches. So if you would like, feel free, you can do skips instead. I'm not quite there to jump yet, so I'm going to go ahead and just do a slow march where I use my core, lifting up, but you can do a quick march. And like I said, you can also do a skip, a little double tap there. So that is movement number 3. Movement number 4, we're going to do a moving lateral lunge. So we're going to start on one side of your space here. We are going to step out into our lateral lunge, pushing through our foot, coming back up, and then again, and then we're going to come back. So however much room you have, if you only do 1, if you do 2, 3, whatever room you have, that's good for me today. And then final 2 movements, similar to yesterday, but different, a little bit more challenging. So yesterday we did a reverse lunge to a knee drive. Today we're going to do a curtsy lunge into a knee drive. So what that's going to look like here, we're going to step back behind diagonal into our curtsy lunge and then come up into our knee drive. So again, a little bit trickier. So stepping back, curtsy lunge, and up. So we're going to do all on one leg and then the other leg. So that is going to be our circuit today. So let's go ahead and start with our quick warm up here. We're going to do the world's greatest stretch to start. So when you're ready, we're going to come to the top of our space. We're going to interlace our fingers. We're going to grab onto our knee and pulling towards our chest. And we're going to go ahead when we're ready. We're going to exhale, step back into a reverse lunge. Hands coming down on the inside of our front foot. Back leg stays nice and straight. Nice big deep inhale. And exhaling, opening up towards the ceiling, looking past our hand. Thumb is facing behind us. And we're going to exhale, planting outside of our front foot. Bringing our back foot a little bit closer and pushing our hips up into our hamstring stretch. And when we're ready, we're going to go ahead and exhale. We'll bring our feet together, push the ground away, and stand on up. All right, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to interlace our fingers, grabbing onto our other knee, pulling towards our chest. And we're going to go ahead and exhale, step back into our reverse lunge. Hands coming down on the inside of our front foot. Back leg stays nice and straight. Nice big deep inhale. And exhaling, opening up towards the ceiling, looking past our hand. Thumb is facing behind us. And we're going to exhale, plant our hand outside of our front foot. Bring our back foot a little bit closer and pushing our hips up into our hamstring stretch. And when we're ready, we're going to go ahead and exhale. Bring our feet together, push the ground away, and stand on up. Perfect. All right, last part of our warm-up, we're going to go ahead and do some plank to pike here. So when we're ready, making our way down to the ground, Making our way to our hands and our toes. And when we're ready, we're gonna go ahead and exhale, push our hips up towards the ceiling into our down dog or pike position. And we're gonna go ahead and we can start to pedal our heels if that feels good. So pressing one heel into the ground, doing one breath, and then exhaling, doing the other foot. And switching as we exhale. And one more. And let's go ahead, push both our heels into the ground, poke our head in between our hands. Really opening up our shoulders. Let's go ahead and come back down to our plank. Let's go ahead and do 3 quick ones coming up. And back down. 2 more coming up. And down. And last one coming up. And then we can go ahead and make our way back to our plank. You can gently bring your knees to the ground, but we are going to stay on the ground because we're starting off with our plank walks here. So we are going to be on our hands and our toes. And we're doing 50 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest / transition time. Getting the timer ready here in 3, 2, 1, and go. So on our hands and toes, we're moving side to side here. So we're starting on one side of your area. We're taking a baby step out and a baby step in with our hand and our foot. So we're in our plank position. So hands are underneath our shoulders. Back is nice and straight, nice and flat. Bring our hands out and in. So however much space you have, you can go that many in that direction. So if you only have enough space to go back and forth one time, whatever feels good, but we're making sure that our pelvis is tucked. We're nice and straight from our head to our hips to our heels. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. All right. Shake your arms out. Oh, my chest is super sore. We have pike push-ups next. 3, 2, 1. So from our plank, pushing our hips up into our pike or down dog position. Bring your head as close to the ground as we can, exhaling, coming back up. So couple key things here. Number 1, elbows go towards our feet. So not directly towards our feet, and I know it's a little bit hard angle-wise, but we don't want them going out to the sides. So elbows come behind or towards our feet. Core is nice and engaged, so our back stays nice and flat. And our head is aiming directly in between our hands. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. All right. Next up, we are either marching or skipping. So whatever feels good for you today, that's what I'd like you to do. 3, 2, 1. So you can do this a couple ways. I'm gonna move nice and slow through this, trying to making it more of a core workout. To exhale, bring your leg up nice and slow. You also can grab a mini band and do a mini band march if you also would like to do that. You can march to the side. You can also skip. So if you want to do skips, you want to get your heart rate up a little bit more, whatever feels good for you today, you also can do more of a fast march, which maybe I'll do this one. That does not hurt today, so that's a good sign. All right, 3, 2, 1. Perfect. I definitely am not ready to skip, but that felt okay. All right, next up, moving lateral lunge. So we're starting on one side of our space. 3, 2, 1. So we are stepping out as far as we can. Knee comes forward, hips go back, pushing through our foot. So we're feeling that in our glute and in our quads. Going as low as we can. And if you only have space to go one each direction, do whatever you have space for. You do not have to move a certain amount of times. This is not feeling as good as I was hoping. So I'm gonna not go as deep because that is not happening today. But really try and go nice and slow. So we're really focusing, standing up with our legs, not our back. 3, 2, 1. All right. Last two movements, we're doing all on one leg, all on the other leg. Curtsy lunge into a knee drive. 3, 2, 1. So we are going back behind diagonal with our leg, hips facing forward. So headlights on our hips, blinding directly in front of you, coming down into our curtsy lunge, exhaling, driving our knee up. So again, same thing as we did yesterday in boot camp. We did the reverse lunge and knee drive, but now we're just doing a curtsy lunge. So it's a little bit different because as we stand up, the angle, instead of coming directly back, we're going a little bit more to the side. So we're gonna help our knee joint a little bit more here, a little bit trickier balance-wise. So it's a little bit more of a step up from yesterday. 3, 2, 1. Great. If that's not feeling good for you today, go ahead. You can do the reverse lunge again if that feels better. 3, 2, 1. But I would like us all to try to do the curtsy lunge today. Challenge us a little bit more. I know it does sometimes help with balance if you are not wearing shoes. So I say this a lot. I really would take my shoes off. I might honestly end up taking them off. I know these shoes are better than most of the shoes that I wear for classes. But sometimes just having that, the way your foot connects with the ground determines how the movement's going to go. And if your foot is not on a stable, flat surface, that can cause that instability within our foot and our ankle. So if you are feeling like that and you're wearing shoes, feel free to go barefoot or with socks, whatever feels good. 3, 2, 1. All right. Round 1 is done. We got 2 more to go. Back to the ground with our lateral plank walks. 3, 2, 1. So step 1, we're screwing our hands into the ground, bringing our belly button into our spine so our core is engaged. And then we are doing a baby step out, baby step in. So we don't have to do a super big step here. We want to keep our nice stable base, looking out slightly in front of us. So we're not fully tucking our chin. We're not looking down at our hands. We want to look out like a foot in front of us, I would say. So pick a spot on the ground where your chin is still kind of pointed down, but you're not fully tucking your chin to your chest. And if that doesn't feel good, you can always just hold your plank. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. All right. Plank, or sorry, not plank to pike. We have pike push-ups. Our next. 3, 2, 1. All right. So same thing into our plank position and coming back up into our pike. For these pike push-ups, we don't need to be flat on our feet. We can definitely be on our toes. Our legs are not doing too much. You can always bend them if that feels better for you in this position. Doing whatever feels good today. Sometimes we gotta meet ourselves where we're at and give our 100% of what we have today, even if it's not our normal 100%. So maybe you're like me today and you're a little sore from yesterday because we haven't been working out as much. So what we did yesterday, we went 100% because we had 100% to give, but today we only have 70. We're giving 100% of that. 3, 2, 1. I don't know if that made sense, but anyways, all right, we have marches or skips next. 3, 2, 1. Definitely feeling my hip flexor start to kick in on my right side. So if you are feeling it more in your hip flexors and you want to feel it more in your core, move a little slower, be a little bit more, have a little bit more intention with our movement. Breathing through our core, lifting our knee up. Going a little slower if you need to. And like I mentioned too, you can skip, you can do a quick march, you can do a lateral march, you can do a forward march, you do a forward skip, whatever feels good today. I'm leaving this one open to interpretation. 3, 2, 1, because you know your body better than I do at this moment. I also am not going 100% yet. 3, 2, 1. We have moving lateral lunges. I'm going more 100% today. Try to ramp it up a little bit for us. But I think these ones are a little bit more challenging than I thought they were going to be for me today. But moving nice and slow. That is why I gave us a little bit more time today. Move nice and slow. Really feel that mind to muscle connection working. So like for this one, you can go at your normal speed or you can slow it down, pause. You can take a little bit longer to get back up, really pushing through our heel, big toe, little toe on these. Want to really feel our glutes working. So our hips are back, knees forward, just pushing through our working leg. 3, 2, 1. All right. We have curtsy lunges and knee drive, and then we have one more round. 3, 2, 1. All right. So again, back behind diagonal, hips are facing forward. So we're coming down into the curtsy lunge, and then exhaling as we drive our knee up. So as always too, with this one, just like all the other ones today, you can either A, move slowly through the top, driving up using your core, or you can make it more of that explosive movement where we're coming up, acting like we're breaking that plane of glass on our or at our hips. So wherever you're at today, feel free to move in that way that feels good for you. 3, 2, 1. I feel like if I move too fast, my balance is worse. But that's where being flat-footed without shoes can be helpful. Other leg, 3, 2, 1. Going down and back up. This is where going slower, I know for me, is helpful so I can focus on both my leg and my core. If I go too fast, then I'm probably just going to use my hip flexors because they always take over. So that's where I said, again, going slow, help practice that intention, our mind to muscle connection. Where do we want to feel this movement? Where are we actually feeling the movement? And how do we tweak it? That way we feel it in a way that we should be feeling it. I was definitely wobbly on that one. All right, finishing strong here. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. All right, last round coming on up. Lateral plank walks are first. 3, 2, 1. So getting our checklist ready, screwing our hands into the ground. Upper back is nice and flat, looking about a foot out in front of us, pushing our belly button into our core. So our belly button into our spine. So our back is engaged, squeezing our armpits, core is engaged, and then baby steps. Kind of like with our mini band side steps. It's been a while since we've done those, but we do baby steps out, baby steps in. And if you need to reset after going through it one more time, definitely do that. So if you need to even reset each time you move, I would prefer that versus doing it in a way that either doesn't feel good or is not correct. 3, 2, 1. Nothing is worse than moving and it doesn't feel good and you're sore in the wrong places after. All right, pike push-ups. 3, 2, 1. It's our last upper body movement today. Even on this one, I know I tend to look down at my feet on like everything, and then I wonder why my neck hurts. So we want to keep that curve in our spine. So looking straight ahead at the ground, trying to not strain our neck. Easier said than done. I know, because it's like that bad habit I'm trying to kick with my where I look. 3, 2, 1. All right, we are done with our upper body today. Moving on to our marches or skips. 3, 2, 1. Can also do a slow march forward. That feels good. Feel like that's all dependent on what kind of space you have, where you are working out. If you are confined to a smaller space, going in place is probably gonna be better. You can always mix it up. Just like me, I feel like I've done a different type of march every round, and that is also okay to do. You know, sometimes we just gotta work to find what feels good for us. Half the battle is trial and error, right? We gotta try things out, see if we like it. We'll never know if we won't like it or if we do like it until we do try. 3, 2, 1. All right, done with that. We have moving lateral lunges next. 3, 2, 1. All right. So starting with whatever side we like. Coming down. If you notice, I like to fully take my other leg off the ground so we can really focus on our working leg. If that also works for you, feel free to try it out. If you try it and you don't like it, do whatever feels good. If you also are moving like on hardwood like this, and you have like paper plates or something at home, you can always do a little bit of a slide there. But I feel like that's a movement for a different day. Or maybe for boot camp next Tuesday. All right. Finishing strong here. 3, 2, 1. All right. Last movement. We got curtsy lunges. So we're doing whatever leg we're starting with, and then the other leg. 3, 2, 1. All right. Last round of this. Back behind diagonal. And again, either you can be explosive or you can go slow. Keeping our core engaged. I feel like we should have done those quad spread opposites as our warm-up so our core was a little bit more warmed up. So I'm going to keep that in mind for next week. We're going to switch up our warm-up. So we're a little bit more equipped for the workout in terms of our pillar strength, our pillar being a little bit more activated versus stretched. 3, 2, 1. All right. And last movement here. Curtsy lunge on the other side. 3, 2, 1. I don't know why. Siri was just vibrating at me. I didn't say it. I didn't say it. Back behind diagonal. Exhaling up. And going either slowly or explosively, whatever feels good today, but also whatever you really want to work on. So that being a little bit more explosive will help with running mechanics and also with our explosive movement. So if you do a lot of jumps or any other types of activity, moving slowly will help activate our glutes, activate our muscles, and our core. 3, 2, 1. And that is going to be it for today's circuit. So go ahead and grab a sip of water if you need it. And we're going to go ahead and make our way to the ground. We're going to do some child's pose again for our cool down today. So when you're ready, making your way onto the ground on your hands and your knees. And we're going to take our knees a little bit wider than hip width. We're going to walk our hands out, forehead, chin or cheek to the ground. We're gonna do a few deep breaths here. So I want us to really inhale through our nose into our bellies and exhaling, thawing away our tension. Let's go ahead and do one more breath here. And as we finish our exhale, when we're ready, we can gently put a little bit more weight onto our hands, returning back to our hands and our knees. And feel free to stay on the ground if you need to, or you can return to a seated, kneeling, or standing position. But that is going to be it for us today. So I hope y'all had a great workout like I did. I hope you have a great day, and I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see y'all next week.